Hi, kids. Today we're going to be talking about some things that Jesus did in Luke and how we can have faith in Jesus. So let's go through it again. Let's remember, was Matthew in the New Testament or Old Testament? It's in the New Testament. And it's which book? Matthew, Mark, Luke, third book. Okay? And we're going to be in chapter 18 today. All right. Well, when Jesus was here, he healed many people. And I'm going to read you about one of them. I want you to pretend that you're the person being healed, okay? Which means you have to pretend to be blind. Close your eyes, please. As I read, I want you to imagine how the blind man might have felt on this day. One of the biggest days of his life. Okay? Keep your eyes closed until Jesus heals the blind man. Okay? So I'm going to read you the story. Keep your eyes closed, and I'm going to read you what happened to him. And just imagine this, that you're the blind beggar. As Jesus approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. So you're sitting by the roadside and you're begging for money. Okay? When he heard the crowd going by, he asked what was happening. They told him, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. He called out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And those who led the way rebuked him and told him to be quiet. But he shouted all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus stopped and ordered the man to be brought to him. When he came near, Jesus asked him, What do you want me to do for you? Lord, I want to see, he replied. Jesus said to him, Receive your sight. Your faith has healed you. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus, praising God. When all the people saw it, they also praised God. That's a neat story, isn't it? Yeah, that was a really awesome thing that God did. It's not just a story, it's a true story, okay? Nonfiction. Now, imagine you've been blind your whole entire life, and Jesus has just given you your sight. What do you think you would see? What would you see? What would be special to you? What I want you to do is grab a piece of paper and some crayons or markers or whatever you like to draw with, and I want you to draw what you think what you would see first, what you would think was so special first, okay? All right, go ahead and do that and come back. Okay, now let's talk about an ability you wish you had, but you don't, like maybe singing or playing soccer. Just talk about that to someone there that's with you, okay? What you would like to have, but you don't. Okay, now what would you do with that ability if one day Jesus gave it to you? Talk about that and come back. All right, well, the beggar was missing one really important ability, the ability to see. That's a really big one, isn't it? Without sight in those days, it was even harder. You really couldn't have a job. There was no way to get one. Things were harder for them. They had a harder time getting around. They depended on other people a lot. Okay? That's why he was a beggar. Okay? They begged for food. They begged for money. Anything they needed. But he had faith that Jesus could heal his eyes. He didn't care who told him to be quiet. He wanted to get to Jesus. So what did this man do to show his faith in Jesus? Talk about that a little bit. All right, what did he do? Maybe I'll read a little part of it again to you. Well, it says, they rebuked him. He had the courage to call out first, right? And then it said they rebuked him and told him to be quiet, but he shouted all the more. Would you do that if you wondered whether they could really heal you or not? No, you wouldn't, would you? You would only do that if you were sure they could. And he really wanted it, didn't he? That's right. Okay. And when the Lord asked him what he wanted, he right out and told him. He knew that Jesus could do it. I want to be able to see. Okay. And it said that as soon as Jesus told him, he received his sight. What do you do to show your faith in Jesus? Do you step out and do things to show faith? Talk about that a little bit. How can you show faith in Jesus? Miracles are really cool, right? But as Jesus performed this miracle of healing the blind man, he also taught others how important it was to have faith in Jesus. The blind man and all the people who saw Jesus heal him, plus all the people who read about it in our Bible now, right, can have faith in Jesus and see how he can twist and turn bad to good in our lives. That's our box, right? Twist and turns. Twist and turn bad to good in our lives. That's why we can have faith in Jesus. Okay? All right, let's try something else. We have faith in a lot of... Oops, sorry about that. My camera turned a little bit. There we go. We have faith in a lot of things, don't we? For instance, you can have faith in gravity. Gravity is the force that makes everything fall down toward the earth, toward the ground when you drop them. Okay, show me how you'd prove that you have faith in gravity without climbing on anything. Don't climb on things. But show me how you could have faith in that, okay? Or show somebody else, all right, that's at your house too. So you could jump up and down, you can drop things like my Monopoly cards here. We know if gravity exists. We can see it, right? See it. That's interesting. Anyway, we can have faith that our feet will hold us up. Show me how you'd prove that that's true. Show somebody there how you'd prove that that's true. We have faith that we're alive. Show me how you can prove that's true. Show somebody in your family. Tell them you're going to prove to them that you're alive, okay? That can be difficult, really, if you get somebody who's really ornery. But anyway. Okay. So we have faith in Jesus. What can you do to show others that you have faith in Jesus? We just talked about that a little bit. What makes your faith grow stronger? What makes it grow weaker? Some things that make your faith grow stronger is when you do step out, you pray about it and you do step out and the Lord does it, right? Yeah. Or when you see him do things for other people as well, okay? And they share with you, that can improve your faith, all right? And you see the things in the Bible as well. What can make it weaker? If we forget who does everything, this is one thing a lot of people don't credit, but if you see and recognize things coming from God, you'll notice a lot more things to have faith in. But if you don't, if you just go through life thinking things just happen and that you don't give the credit to God, then you won't see what he can do. You won't give that credit to him. Therefore, then when you need faith, you don't think of those things, all right? So that's kind of one you may not have thought of yourself, but it was one that I think about. That's one of the reasons why I tell my kids and my grandkids that we pray before we eat our meals. It seems like something we do every day, and sometimes it gets rather redundant if you're not careful. Redundant's a big word, isn't it? It's something that we do all the time and maybe don't even think about like we should when we pray before our meal. But I think doing it reminds us every day of where those meals come from and that the Lord is there each time. Um, how can you believe in Jesus even though you don't see him? Well, the man that was blind, he never saw anything, did he? Ooh, that's an interesting one, right? Yeah. So if you went by only what you could see, then the blind one wouldn't have faith in very much at all, or believe in very much at all. Faith is having hope in something that you can't see, okay? Knowing that something's there that you can't see. And that's what a blind person does all the time. And in order for a blind person to get around, they kind of have to step out on faith. Maybe if they have a cane, they kind of go like this. They test the waters a little bit, or put their ground out, or maybe they have a seeing eye dog now. They put it out there, but then they take that step, believing that it's there. That's kind of the same way we do spiritually, okay? Things like the wind, you don't see those, but we know it's there because we feel it. Well, that's the same thing with Jesus in our hearts. We don't see him, but once you have him in your heart, you know he's there. We have faith in Jesus. We don't have faith because we can see him. The blind man couldn't even see him before his healing. You can't prove Jesus is in your life. But when we feel how he changes us on the inside, we can show others that we have faith in Jesus. By our actions, we show faith that we have in Jesus. Right now, sometimes some of the stuff that's going on is pretty scary. And, I think about that sometimes, about how people who don't have Jesus and don't know what his word says and don't know how powerful it is and don't have that faith, that they don't have that hope. It might seem rather hopeless to them. And they're probably very afraid. I've seen some very afraid people this year. So, okay. Now this one's kind of a fun one. It's make-believe. Here we go again. I don't have my usual setup. I guess I should have gotten it. All right. Let's try that again. Okay. So sorry to take you for a couple rides today. But we're going to make up some stories. That's fun, isn't it? Each story must begin with, "Once when I was walking in the forest." Ooh, that's a good one. For example, you might say, once when I was walking in the forest, I saw a bear tap dancing in a pink tutu. I'm getting really silly now. Anyway, a bear tap dancing in a pink tutu. That's quite the picture. But anyway, tell the craziest story you can think of. All of it make-believe. So none of it can be true. We want it to be all made up, okay? So you have 1 minute to think about a story, what you'd want to do. It just should be real short, okay? Just like that one was one sentence. Okay, so 1 or 2 sentences. And then share your story with somebody at your house, okay? And come back. Okay, I'm guessing that you don't believe the stories your friends just told, right? Or that you just told. Hopefully they told you one too. I guess we should have qualified that. You should have all done it. But anyway, that's because you heard me say the stories had to be make-believe, right? And maybe it's because you know the stories you just heard can't be true. Bears don't tap dance or normally wear a tutu. You can't have faith in things or people that are make-believe. Like some of your characters on TV, the cartoons, you know they're made up. All right? For you to have faith in someone, he or she has to be real and true. Now tell me, why do you believe in Jesus? Or do you believe in Jesus? Okay? Talk about that a little bit. Well, unlike our stories, Jesus is real and true. The blind man believed that Jesus had amazing power, even though the things Jesus had done may have sounded kind of unbelievable. Jesus does amazing things in our lives too. That's why we have faith in Jesus. You might be able to tell that was our theme for the day. We have faith in Jesus. So that's something for us all to work on. We'll work on that our whole lives, won't we? That's right. In the Bible, there's even a verse, and I've shared this a couple times recently. There's a verse that talks about moving mountains. That if we had the faith of a little mustard seed, we could move mountains. Wow. I guess none of us have that much faith, huh? I don't see anybody moving mountains. Of course, I don't know if we would. Uh, you know what sounds better than moving mountains? Changing hearts, right? Telling them about Jesus. And with God's help, we can do that. We can have that faith. But anyway, okay. So I'll pray you have a great week this week and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.